This is The Top, where I interview entrepreneurs who are number one or number two in their industry in terms of revenue or customer base. You'll learn how much revenue they're making, what their marketing funnel looks like, and how many customers they have.
I'm now at $20,000 per top.
5 and 6 million.
He is hell-bent on global domination. We just broke our 100,000 unit sold mark.
And I'm your host, Nathan Latka.
I just finished traveling Southeast Asia for 41 days, and I usually always get sick when I travel, and quite frankly, eating is difficult for me. It's hard to find a restaurant, and I'm spoiled in Austin with my personal chef. Well, I took these little packets with me this time, 30 of them, in my carry-on suitcase. They kept me totally healthy with 11 different secret ingredients. You can see them at nathanlatka.com/juice. I'll tell you more later on in the show. That's nathanlatka.com/juice. This is episode 661. Coming up tomorrow morning, I talk to a software product CEO that helps you get new sales leads. They're doing $425,000 per month in revenue. You don't want to miss it. Good morning, everybody. Nathan Latka here. My guest this morning is Ali Gardner. He's the CEO and he's the co-founder at Unbounce. He's seen and really seen more landing pages than, quite frankly, anybody on the planet. He's a prolific international speaker, and he's on a mission to rid the world of marketing mediocrity by using data-informed copywriting, design, interaction, and psychology to create a more delightful experience for marketers and customers alike. Ali, are you ready to take us to the top?
I am really ready. Thanks for having me on, Nathan.
All right, yeah, thanks for jumping on, man. I appreciate it. So, tell us first, for the rare individual that doesn't know what Unbounce does, tell us what you do, and then tell us how you sustain yourself. What's your revenue model?
Yeah, it's a SaaS business. We are a conversion platform for marketers. We started out as a landing page platform, so it allows you to build landing pages without any technical help. And now we just expanded about 2 weeks ago into something we call convertibles, which are a new suite of conversion tools. Right now we have overlays to allow you to capture more leads and signups on your website. So now it's website and landing pages.
And take us back, give us some history here. What year did you launch the company in?
We launched August 14th, 2009.
2009. Wow. And give us some context for other entrepreneurs launching right now. I mean, were you like broken on the street and this was your last jab at making money, or had you just sold a company or left corporate? What's the story?
6 co-founders, and we all have a kind of
6.
I know, right?
Holy mackerel.
And we've never really argued.
That's great.
So a few of us, we all worked together back in 2010, and then all the way up to 2000, and then all up to 2000s, like 4 to 10 different companies. And some of us were indeed broke. I just got back from a stint in Costa Rica working for a really sketchy online casino. I got sick down there, some like stomach thing from the water. I couldn't work for 6 months. I had to declare, I had to do a consumer proposal, which is like halfway bankruptcy. So completely broke. Sleeping in someone's apartment, all that kind of stuff. But, I like risk, so we all just said, let's do this.
And how did you fund kind of the initial concept? Did you guys just put in money, or how'd you do that?
It was a friends and family round initially, so some of the people who had a little bit of money threw in. I think it was a total of 50 grand Canadian between the people that contributed. Then a little bit after that, we had some angel, a total of like 180, I think. And then 2 years in, a small seed round. So we've raised less than $1 million Canadian.
Even to date?
Yeah.
That's great. So give us, that's kind of like an interesting, I imagine, conversation with your 6 co-founders, right? Some people, were putting in total time, but were broke, so they weren't putting in money. Some people maybe put in money, but less time. Like, walk us through that conversation, because there's people listening right now going through the same thing right now. They're, one founder saying, I'm going to put in capital, but spend less time, and someone else is spending less time. How do you have the equity conversation?
Everybody was equal to start with.
Okay.
We all had the company, but then it got shifted in terms of everyone worked the same. Obviously some people work longer hours than others, but there was no one working less time. It was all full time. So we split evenly, but then adjusted for, obviously anyone put money in earned, they had more shares than the rest of us. And then some of us had to take a small salary, so they got sweat equity while we were doing that. And Rick, the CEO, got a bit extra because it was his idea.
Got it.
Totally even.
What how did you decide how many more shares somebody would get if they were putting in capital early on, say 10 grand or 20 grand?
We've, figured out some kind of rough valuation. It was total horseshit. Yeah, we had some pretty good, financial advice and lawyers and all that kind of thing along the way. So I think it was pretty good. And yeah, we all agreed on it. We thought it made sense. And so we just moved on from there. I mean, then it didn't really feel like it matters. Now, 7.5 years on, when you look at the share you have of a company, all of a sudden that 20 grand someone put in translates
big
to
difference.
a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Are all 6 of the original co-founders still active to some degree in the company?
5 of us are.
That's pretty impressive. A lot of people, they have 3 co-founders, only 1 is active 5 years in. So that's impressive. You've kept 5 together. Mm-hmm. So give us an update kind of where you're at. You launched in 2009. You've raised less than $1 million kind of Canadian dollars. Where are you right now in terms of team size?
We are 184, I think.
That's great. All based in up there in Vancouver or no?
Primarily, we have about 15 in Montreal, and we just opened a Berlin office, and I think we have a couple of people scattered like South America or something, but yeah,
okay.
Vancouver.
And then let's go back, let's dig back into the product a bit more here. So you have folks paying you, you're a SaaS model. To avoid kind of going into every different customer cohort, what would you say kind of the average business is paying you?
It is, our ARPU is around $93 a month.
Okay. And that goes from kind of the essential plan at $79 a month to premium of $159 and enterprise, which is $399 plus. You said the average is paying you $150?
93.
Oh, 93.
Yesterday, actually.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, and you're looking at the annual plan discount price, but if you're paying monthly, it's now $99, $199, $499, I believe, $399, I believe.
Okay. So $93, and that's a monthly ARPU, right?
Yeah, and that's going to go up immediately because, the pricing on the lower end, we basically took off our cheapest plan, which we've done before. We did it 5 years ago and it had a profound effect.
Okay, that's a super valuable lesson. Tactically walk us through that. So first off, why eliminate that plan? How do you deal with all those people revolting that it doesn't exist anymore? And what do you do with grandfather accounts?
Yeah, we grandfather everyone in this time for at least 2 years. The plans have been restructured in a way that is actually more beneficial probably if you go to the new pricing, because some of the things we charge you for extra for little add-ons, we don't do that anymore, and we base it more on the actual pure value you're getting. But yeah, you can get it for about 2 years. But the reason we did it back 5 years ago was because we had too many support calls with people who weren't marketers. They were just people who signing up. It was too cheap. Since we took that away.
What was that plan price point wise?
I think we had a $10 plan.
Okay.
And so we took that out, and then we eventually took the $25 plan out as well. Our revenue went up, obviously, because things cost more. I mean, it's really scary doing that. You think, oh, no one's going to sign up anymore, but they do. They pay for it. It's a great product. But also our support burden went way down because now we had professional marketers who knew what they were doing on the phone. So they were asking marketing questions or how to use the product rather than how do I do marketing or what do I do with this? So, and as we've grown, we're trying to scale with our customers. So we're going more for the M in the SMB. And so, that's where our features have gone, and that's where our pricing. I've been at conferences walking around, speaking to someone from a company, and they're like, oh, Unbounce, you guys are really cool, but you're too cheap, so we wouldn't use you.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So where are you at today? How many customers are you serving?
14,000 active.
It's amazing. 14,000 active. And do you have a free trial? Do you have a larger number of users, or do they have to go directly into a paid plan?
You can go on a demo account, which, there's no credit card needed. You can just go in there. It's limited in what you can do, but you can get in there. You can publish a page live. You can do everything, pretty much everything you want, but then, you want to get it on your own domain. So it's just not a temporary one then. So you have to pay to take to that step, but you can get in and evaluate the product.
Okay. And then if I take, those are 14,000, those are paying customers, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, I'm just back to the napkin math, 14,000 times the $93 ARPU. I can assume you guys are doing, about $1.3 million in MRR, somewhere around there?
Good work.
That's Ollie going, I can't confirm or deny, but good math.
It's 1.4, just under, I think.
That's great. Congratulations. Walk us through some of the other things that are critical kind of in a SaaS business, especially because you have a large cohort, kind of a customer base. When you're looking at a number like churn, how are you guys dealing? Maybe start with customer churn and then maybe talk about expansion revenue and revenue churn.
Yeah, some of those I'm not the best person for that, but
that's okay.
In terms of churn, we've had a problem with that, like most SaaS businesses do, but primarily because Some people upgrade and downgrade. We make it very easy to downgrade. We don't want you to have problems with that. So people, they're called flappers. They come up and down because they're not always running campaigns. I mean, we know that you need landing pages for everything you do, so we would never turn it off ourselves. But not everybody has come to figured out that benefit in all these different ways. So sometimes they downgrade, then come back. That's the reason we launched this convertibles set of tools, because then we're on the website too, and you're getting tons of leads and being very successful there, so you're less likely to want to turn it off. So that was the strategy.
It's like, the flower shop that used to only sign up for you guys during a Black Friday sale will now stick with you on down season times for them because they have a website overlay.
Exactly.
Yeah, interesting. And when you say, everyone categorizes, quote, churn problem at different amounts. Some might say 3% is a problem. Some would say, 10% is a problem. For you, what was the problem amount in terms of gross customer churn monthly? Or a range is fine if you're not 100% sure.
I think it's around the 5% or 4.5% level. We want to get down to just over around 2.
Yeah. And then if you look at, it looks like the way you guys are driving expansion revenue based off your features on the landing page are you drive people to increase ARPUs if they add more landing pages or overlays. Is that correct? And if so, are there any other levers you're using utility-wise that drive people into more paying you more?
Yeah, that's the basics of it. And just some more pro things, like if you're integrating with Salesforce and Marketo, you're a larger company. And you're going to be having more use out of this product, so that we kind of get there. And also some features like dynamic text replacement that actually might be across the board now. I think it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, overlays, because they're so successful and there's so much data and so much traffic. But yeah, so there's a limitation on how many you can have live at one time. Mm-hmm. Part of that's actually, it's not necessarily our intention, but it's a good behavioral trait, especially if it's on one website, because you don't want those everywhere. That's not responsible use of technology. And the reason we call them overlays, they are pop-ups, but we call them overlays because we're trying to draw a line in the sand behind, between the past when these things have been abused in terms of interaction and psychology, and we're trying to do it right, trying to be responsible with the technology, because the technology is not the problem. We are.
Yep.
We're trying to change.
Yeah, you've got other kind of, call it ARPU expansion kind of features, things like Marketo integration, Salesforce integration, customer success manager, and dedicated launch specialists, right? Things like that. Yep. Walk me through kind of how you see the overall market. So, do you see a company like Bounce Exchange kind of in your space, or name maybe 2 or 3 others you see in your space?
They would be the one I respect the most when it comes to the overlay world, because I know that they're doing a lot with machine learning and such. Yep. So they're pretty advanced. What I like about ours, the main differentiation between us and everyone else is that because you use the Unbounce builder, it's 100% configurable, so you can make it exactly on brand, pixel perfect version of your Photoshop design. So when you see it, it looks and feels like your design. It's not this templated overlay that looks like the ones you've seen on 15 other sites. So that's a big competitive advantage, especially for people who take their brand seriously. Mm-hmm. And
how do you compete with like a lower priced and potentially, you could argue, kind of maybe less valuable competitor like what Noah Kagan's building at, say, SumoMe?
Yeah, again, our value is different. And our targeting is getting really, really smart, and it expands very quickly because it's a new product. We move much more quickly than we do, like, say, on the primary landing page platform. And really, most services like that cost between like $250 and $5,000 a month. We, even if you're not using landing pages, we start at $99. So it's very cheap for what you get and the value you get. There are some cheaper ones and then some WordPress plugins, but they're just not very good.
Yep. Have you guys considered? Well, actually, you have 5 co-founders. So there's a lot of different people, leaders doing different things. What's your primary focus of the company?
I am primarily a public speaker now. I spend about half of my time on the road doing that, which I absolutely love now. I was scared out of my mind to start that a couple of years ago, but I got guilted into it.
You guys have to watch Ollie. Like, go anytime, get on his list, and anytime it says he's speaking at a conference, you must go watch. I was speaking at the AWeber conference, which he spoke at as well, and I was just blown away. First off, the slides were beautiful. I mean, he had like audio files playing where it was like a Disney sing-along movie where the little ball would bounce on these words. And I mean, Ollie, it was super impressive. And all the data and how you engage with the audience. I mean, I would never have guessed you were scared of doing that.
I was terrified, but then I won an award for best presentation at 65 speakers in my very time. Like, oh, okay, I'll do it. I always knew kind of I'd be good at it. I just didn't want to do it, but now I love it. So that's about half my time. And the rest of it, I kind of advise and work with the marketing team or work on new content. I'm working on a book right now, at least the ideas behind it. And I work on our Cylons team, our machine learning, artificial intelligence team, which we've just grown this big data team, a bunch of data scientists, and that's really excited. Our goal there is to automate conversion.
That's great. Walk me through, since you're touching the marketing team at least, what are you guys spending in terms of customer acquisition cost on average?
I think our CPA for paid is around, we just engaged a new agency, so it's fluctuating. But I think from what I've seen, it's around the 160 to 200 mark.
Okay. And I know this is a back of the napkin kind of number, but what do you assume lifetime value is on some of these customers to kind of validate that spend on acquisition?
It depends on the plan, but I think on average it's probably around $1,000.
Got it. That's great. And what are you mentioned you switched ad agencies. Who are you using now and why'd you make the switch?
We only had one in-house guy and he left. So we're still looking to hire someone who's going to control everything, but we hired Thrive Digital, local agency. We looked for 3 of them, and they seemed to be the best, so we went with them. It's been like 3 weeks, so it's very new.
And what do you guys, are you guys spending more or less than $100,000 per month on paid acquisition?
Not sure. I would say around about that mark.
Okay, that's pretty healthy. Awesome. Well, hey, Ollie, let's wrap up here with the famous 5. You ready?
Okay, let's do it.
Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Oh, business book. I would say How to Deliver a TED Talk by Jeremy Donovan.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
No.
Number 3, besides your own, is there a favorite online tool you have, like FreshBooks?
I really like Usability Hub for doing 5-second tests.
Usability Hub, interesting. I've never heard of those guys. I'll have to check them out. Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
I'm a raging insomniac, so regular sleep maybe 3 hours, but I'm probably in bed for 7.
3 hours, Ollie? How do you survive?
Well, I have a monster sitting beside me right here.
All right, I'll say 4 hours plus a monster. And what's your situation? Married, single, you have kids?
I'm recently engaged.
Oh, congratulations. So no kids yet?
No.
All right, and how old are you?
I am 44.
All right, last question, man. Wrap it up for us. Take us back 24 years. What's something that you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
That the marriage I was about to get into would be an incredibly stressful and uncomfortable part of my life, but it would get better.
Do you mean the startup marriage or the recent engagement?
I was married way back.
Got it. So the first marriage was going to be more stressful than you thought.
Yes, part of that changed my life forever in the best way possible. I developed a love of wildlife and photography, and that brought me back to Canada, so that was amazing. The relationship didn't end up working out, but that part changed my life, so I'm forever thankful for that.
Hold on, Ollie, I can't just end on that. What happened? Was it a thing where you had to choose between the startup and the spouse, or?
No, this was probably 6 years before we started the companies.
Okay. And I mean, okay, so it didn't, the kind of ups and downs in that, did it have to relate to business? In other words, is there a business lesson we can take from that related to relationships with entrepreneurs?
Learn how to make decisions. I wasn't very good at making decisions back then. That's how I couldn't get out of the relationship for so many years. Now I've learned how to do that, and I'm very good at making decisions. As part of that relationship, something happened, and I, kind of like Jim Carrey and Liar Liar, I'm not able to lie anymore, just for whatever psychological reason, something that happened. So I'm very truthful. I won't always speak up, but if someone asks me a direct question, they get the absolute truth.
There you guys have it. Dropping truth bombs day and night after only 3 hours of sleep. Ollie Gardner founding Unbounce several years ago, back in 2009, with 5 of his closest buds. Some put in equity, some put in money. But regardless, they are on a tear. They've got over 14,000 customers now, paying on average $93 a month, doing around $1.4 million in MRR. They had about 5% gross churn, but they're experimenting with driving that down with new pricing plans and different engagement strategies with things like overlays. Spending on average on their paid spend about $160 to acquire a new customer. That's worth on average $1,000 for them, with their team of 184 folks between Vancouver, Montreal, and Berlin. Ollie, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thank you for having me on, Nathan. That was awesome.
If you enjoyed Ollie today, go back and listen to episode 660 yesterday. My guest, I believe, will be the first drone company trillionaire. It would mean the world to me if you guys got any value from this episode, if you would go leave a review on iTunes right now and then subscribe. You know, I hustle like heck to get these episodes out every freaking day for you guys, and trust me, I love it. I would do it with no listeners, but boy, oh boy, it makes my day and it makes my team's day when we see great reviews and get your feedback. So thanks so much. Okay, Top Tribe, I love giving away free money. I feel like Oprah giving away cars, and I have something special for you today. How many of you have heard our super sharp guests talk about success they've had with Facebook and Google Ads? Well, all of you listening right now, yes, if you're listening, you get $100 in free AdWords. Here's how you get it, okay? Again, thanks for listening. Get the free $100 from Google, right, when you sign up with my website host provider, HostGator. Go sign up now to get your free money. HostGator.com/Nathan. Again, that's HostGator.com/Nathan. So guys, I'm so glad to be back in Austin. I just got back from a major tour of Southeast Asia. Went to Sydney, Bangkok, Bali, and Japan. And, you know, I always get sick when I travel. And this particular trip, my gosh, 15 different airports, 20 different hotels. I mean, imagine flushing in airport bathrooms. I was worried about germs and getting all the nutrition I need. I mean, finding a restaurant in Japan, difficult because nothing's in English. So it's hard enough to figure out the train system. But my point is, I had a guy named Drew Canoli on the show who said, Nathan, if you're concerned about that, take these little green packets with you. You just mix them once per day with water. They'll keep you super healthy. You get all your nutrients, and they'll keep you from getting sick. So I took them. And guys, they worked unbelievably well. I got no sickness, just mixed them with water once per day. They didn't make my water bottles all sticky. That's like nice. A lot of these mixtures, they make them sticky. It was very clean and smooth. Took them once per day, never got sick. So they've got 11 superfoods, and they're perfect if you're not traveling, but you're just on the go from your office to work. So you can check them out at nathanlatka.com/juice. That's nathanlatka.com/juice.